Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back to Cilinix Crypto and welcome to this new video, a little bit more of a special video because in this video I will show you all the platforms and all the tools I use in my crypto trading. So we'll go over all these, it's mostly websites, and I'll tell you how I use them. Now, these are very much basic platforms. I mean, some of them already contain some more advanced trading techniques and advanced trading trading information. That is true, but if you really want to do a deep dive into crypto trading, and if you really want to, specialize in footprint charts or TPOs, for example, there are better platforms than these. The thing is that these are platforms that are, I would argue, beginner friendly, and the minimum I would argue you'd need to actually become a profitable trader. So yeah, let's get right into it. We'll go over it platform by platform. I will quickly refresh my camera right here, and I will probably turn these overlays off so you can actually see so you can see the full screen, and there's no risk that you don't see something that is crucial to see. So the first website is very simply said, TradingView. All right, I use TradingView to keep track of all the coins I'm interested in. So what you can see right here can I zoom into this a little bit or not? Yeah, I can. So you can see it right here, TradingView. If you want to know the name, it's this. I have one of the highest paid versions of TradingView. You don't necessarily need that. I would recommend the first tier, but you don't need the highest tier. But I use this to keep track of all my symbols that I'm following. So just the major coins, meme coins, Ethereum Beta. And then I use several indicators on TradingView to allow me to make trading decisions, right? So TradingView by far is the platform I spend most time on, right? So that's where I keep track of all my coins, and then I use other platforms to add coins to these lists right here, and then possibly take trades on that. But TradingView, in my opinion, it's not necessarily the best, but it is the easiest and the best for beginning traders to use to chart, to analyze, and to keep track of cryptos. So first one is TradingView. Now, instantly, we are going to go a little bit deeper and we'll talk about CoinGlass. So I use CoinGlass in two different ways, right? So you can see it on the top left, CoinGlass. I use it in two different ways. First of all, for charts, all right? CoinGlass offers a little bit more crypto-specific data to keep an eye on, right? So what you can see, for example, right here is the template I have on CoinGlass Super Charts, I think it's called. If you go to the normal website, so that's this right here, and you go to the top, you press Supercharts. I think if you go to Supercharts, you get this. But here I keep track of some more data that I cannot get on TradingView, right? So you can see right here I have the price. Then right here I have the aggregated open interest for stablecoin margined contracts. Basically, how much money is open in perpetual futures. Let's keep it simple, but specifically stablecoin margined perpetual futures, and then aggregated futures cumulative volume delta, right? So basically, which direction is that open interest going? And I have those two on the same chart, so I can actually see, all right, well, are positions on futures being opened? And then with the CVD, I can, with some reliability, I can say, all right, well, it's actually longs being opened, or it's shorts being opened, or it's longs being filled, or it's shorts being closed. Just some more context behind what's happening with the price. And then I have the RSI here. I don't really use that, and I also have liquidations. And sometimes I just plug other indicators on the chart. As you can see, I think now you can better see it right here with indicators. Look, they have a lot of indicators that have CoinGlass in front of it, that are very interesting for crypto. So for example, the bid and ask delta, the bid and ask ratio, the aggregated spot taker buy and sell volume, other CVD measures. Very interesting if you want to know a little bit more about the order flow of things. So that's CoinGlass. Now, I also use CoinGlass for different things. First of all, to check funding rates, right? So how the funding rates are developing or how high or how low the funding rates are for specific coins. Now, I have videos on funding rates, right? So if you type in Cilinix crypto funding rates, I'll tell you exactly how to use these, but I'm not going to go into that in this video. For that, the video will be it will become too long. And then outside of that, I just use CoinGlass for a lot of different research purposes, right? So you can, for example, go to market and you can see ETF inflows, but much, much more. I mean, CoinGlass is amazing when it comes to free data because this is free. Now, next up, the next tool I use is Orion Terminal, whatever you want to call it. Let me quickly type that out right here on the chart on TradingView. But Orion Terminal is a great platform that I scan or monitor over the course of today. This is how you find it, and basically you can see the settings I have, right? So on the top of each column you can see all the settings. You can see all the data I want to see, and you can change that with settings, right? So you can plug this out and you can plug this in whichever way you want it. Here, what I can see is, first of all, just what has a lot of perpetual futures volume. I care a lot about volume. If something has a lot of volume, that can tell you a lot. But then outside of that, you can also see the volume delta, all right? So what way is this volume going, and the open interest and the open interest change. So sometimes you can also see that the volume delta is negative and the open interest delta is positive. That means that shorts are being opened. So basically just an easier overview of the order flow. That's essentially what it is, the order flow and where a lot of the capital, where a lot of the volume in the markets is going. Great way to find out which cryptos are interesting to trade, right? So for example, you can see right now that Plasma actually has relatively high volume and is also performing relatively well against the markets. That's interesting. Orion Terminal, and I also have my own bots and my own alerts running right here, which can be helpful as well. Next platform is Levitas, and I'll actually start with Velo. So this is Velo. If you go to news is very interesting, but if you go to futures, you can type in Bitcoin and you get a lot of interesting data, right? So the average return per day over the course of the last 3 months. Over the course of the last month, you can see cumulative return per session, all right? So which session is buying, which session is selling. You can see the CVD per exchange, very interesting, and much more. But this is Velo. I don't use this a lot, but it can give you some interesting context regarding coins you want to trade, because you can type in any coin you want, right? You can also type in XRP and get some more specific data for XRP. And then before we talk about potentially one of the most difficult ones, I also use DeFi Llama a lot. You see this in my videos quite often, but I use this to find out more about the fundamentals, right? So you can see I look up Parcel, like I saw that Parcel was rallying. I look up the fundamentals to see if it's actually interesting fundamentally as well. I care a lot about the fundamentals. I care a lot about if a project is actually, useful to people. And I look up Parcel and I see a TVL of almost $6 million. I think, it's not really useful. I look up Plasma, I see a total value locked of $5.24 billion. I say, and growth, I say, that's quite useful. Great. All right, so those are almost all platforms. The last one is Levitas. Now, Levitas I use mostly as a screener again, but Levitas has a lot of things, right? It has a huge amount of tools when it comes to backtesting, a beta matrix, a correlation matrix, just a lot of things you can see. How I mainly use it at this point of time is I look at the 1 week relative volume to see, all right, well, what has a lot of volume compared to the markets, or what is increasing in volume. An increase in volume sometimes is interesting. And then I just scroll through a lot of pages of this a couple of times per day. So what you can see then is that if you take a look at the 1 week relative volume, let's see if I can find something interesting. Maybe not really. So this is something that you become better with time. But basically just watching coins with higher volume, and then I plug those into TradingView, I analyze it, and I say, maybe I should enter this, or maybe I should enter it at a different price. But based on that, I gather my list, and based on Orion Terminal as well, and based on CoinGlass, or at least I use CoinGlass to analyze it a little bit more. You get a list, and this list I trade. And then how I trade is a whole different story. I have a trading guide on that if you're interested in that, but these at least are the tools I use to be a profitable trader. Essentially, that's what it is. And these are the minimal tools I think you need as well to become that too. So hopefully it helps, but for now, have a great rest of your afternoon or evening, everybody. Take care and bye.